Hand of the Gods, formerly just Smite Tactics, has undergone some serious changes since I first played the alpha version at Smite World Championships back in January of this year. With a myriad of card games flooding the market, I thought even then that it'd be tough for Hi-Rez to carve their niche. Still, I'm a huge fan of Smite, so I really want to see the game succeed. But how's it coming along now that the game is in closed beta? I'm Colton from MMOHuts.com, and here's our first look at Hand of the Gods. Hand of the Gods is a hybrid card game strategy RPG in the same vein as Pax Nora that we reviewed last week, and genre standout Duelist. Originally, the game played a lot more like Duelist, with your leader being a movable unit on the board in addition to all the other units you could play. Since the rebranding and design overhaul, the game has shifted away from that. Now your leader stands on the sidelines, looming over the battlefield as much as you would expect a major god to do. The god's weak point is represented by a stationary glowing gem on the board that your enemies can attack with spells and monsters to damage you. The first to kill the opponent's gem wins. There are a lot of minions, gods, and spells you can play that will be all too familiar to any fans of Smite. Building a deck isn't terribly difficult either, since the card pool is still relatively small and cards are limited to 2 copies per deck. You can only have 25 cards in your deck, so building something that's viable will be easier on new players, but optimizing your deck is still a fun challenge for card game veterans. The game strikes a good balance between deck structure and execution on the battlefield. Just because you have the best cards doesn't mean that you know when or how to use them. There are a lot of different leaders to pick from as well, and more are being added over time as well as more factions, so you have a ton of options. I personally enjoy Freya. Norse is my favorite faction from Smite, and Freya's ability to remove a creature from play for a turn synergizes well with the Norse's strongest strategy, which is to rush down your opponent with small to mid-sized creatures. You pump them up at the right moment and do tons of damage. If you're more of a control or tempo player, you'll want to look to Egyptian and Greek decks as they excel at mid-range board control and powerful late-game minions and gods. I personally haven't tried the Chinese decks yet, but I know that they function on a combo mechanic. They're still relatively new to the game, so I'm sure they'll pick up steam soon. The game feels a lot more balanced than it did in its alpha phase, and that's a good thing because its balance was originally one of my biggest turnoffs. It can be tricky to balance a card game, but Hi-Rez has done a good job tweaking the game into a fun, fast-paced strategy game that's yet to present me with a match that felt like it was unwinnable or broken. In fact, rounds are way faster than they were in the alpha, likely owing to the seemingly smaller grid size and the removal of leaders as movable units. Creatures seem to move more squares at a time as well than they did before, but that may just be my memory being a bit faulty. Either way, the pacing is fun, fast, and it ensures that win, lose, or draw, you won't be in a match for too long. This allows for more games to be played in a set time, allowing you to accrue more favor and complete more quests quickly. The game does have its problems, but they're few and far between. The dynamic background on the main menu always seems to lock up when loading, making the process of getting into the game take far longer than it should. Also, the UI seems rather bland at the moment when you compare it to the minimalist but appealing UI of games like Paladins, or the very architectural and stylized UI of Smite. The look on the menus and the interface just feels uninteresting. Also, there are problems with card text not loading properly when cards are in your hand. Also, mousing over your cards while in a game sometimes makes your hand behave in strange ways, making it difficult to tell what card you're about to click on. This can cause misplays and should be addressed as soon as possible. This only happened to me some of the time though, and these issues would be easy to fix moving forward. Aside from the gameplay, the rest of the offering made by Hand of the Gods is pretty standard CCG stuff. You get favor for completing matches, you spend the favor on packs. You disenchant the cards you don't want or need, and you use the dust to craft cards you do want. It takes about 300 favor to get a pack, and additionally there are quests you can complete that give favor in the hundreds as well, so getting packs without spending money is very easy. Given the somewhat small card pool, it won't be hard to assemble a nice collection of cards without dropping cash. If you want to spend money though, you absolutely can. Runes are the real world currency here, and 500 gems will get you 7 packs, 1000 gets you 15, 2500 gems get you 40 packs, and 3500 gems get you 60. There's also a Founders Bundle you can buy that gives you bonus stuff. To break that down, the 7-pack bundle costs about $13. That comes to about 60 cents a pack. Not bad when you compare it to other card games I've reviewed where packs cost as much as $2 or more. You can save money by buying the larger bundles, but the savings are marginal. These are mostly convenience purchases. As I mentioned earlier, it's super easy to build a collection without having to spend money, and the smaller card pool means it takes less time to build a competitively viable deck. All in all, Hand of the Gods is a tremendously fun card game that takes the formula established by Duelist, simplifies it a bit more, and adds the charm and mythological focus of Smite that fans already know and love. The game offers a very fast way to get caught up and build a collection of cards, and is very wary about avoiding the pitfalls of pay-to-win that plagues so many card games today. If you like card games, strategy games, or mythology in general, Hand of the Gods is a must-play. Well, that's all for today. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe and keep it locked on MMOHuts.com for all the latest gaming news and reviews.